One, my name is Shannon Logan, and I'm the owner of True Core in Annapolis, Maryland. And today I'm very excited and happy to talk to one of our wonderful members, Miss Naomi. Naomi, can you give us a little bit of background about yourself and who you are, and just a little short spiel?
Sure. So, Naomi, I have lived in Maryland for a little over a year. Um, I've been all over the place as far as fitness. I grew up in Seattle, moved when I was 16 to California and moved back to Seattle. Then I moved to Arizona. Now I'm here. So, been a little all over the place, but super fun. And I've met so many people like around those areas. I don't know what else. Yeah, and then I moved to Maryland when the pandemic hit. So didn't really get into a gym until I think June. And I tried a couple different gyms like around the area. And TrueCore was the one that like it was just everyone there was so fun and like was cheering you on, even though like they didn't know me or like know my name or anything about me. They were just like, yeah, get it. Like, and it was just really fun. And I loved that environment. And that was what I was looking for, especially being new to the area. So yeah.
Before you joined True Core, like through that pandemic phase, I guess we would call it, what was your health and fitness like then?
So I live in Edgewater with my parents, and they have a pretty large yard. So I was definitely doing like farm workouts, is what I would call it. So I was doing, burpees in the grass. I was running around the neighborhood as many times as I could. I would do like step ups on our porch and like box jumps on the porch, and then just working in the yard, honestly, too, was just like a huge, it was just nice to be able to be outside.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my main focus, was staying active like outside,
Mm-hmm.
just to keep that positive energy, and not sticking inside. But I think that those are really the only things that I did. And I was never really a runner, but I really got into running. Can't say that I am still now, but so it was kind of fun to like challenge myself in a different way, because I've always been into weights, but being able to try to do more cardio was kind of interesting and see like my changes in my body too. um
Excellent.
it was very cool.
What were some maybe specific challenges you faced before TrueCore when it came to working out on your own?
The motivation for working out was definitely tough. But it was one of those, it's like the cheesy quote of like, you're never going to regret a workout.
Mm-hmm.
And I always ended up feeling, during that time, it was like just really stressful. I was living with my parents again, like my whole family, where I hadn't lived on the same coast as them in like 5 years. So that was a huge adjustment. I was in a new place. I didn't really know anybody. So fitness was really the only option that I had that was somewhat of like my regular routine. And so it was definitely challenging, like trying to find the motivation for it, and then just finding what to do, because again, it was, I didn't have any weights. I didn't have my regular like routine as far as like going to the gym and like doing my walk or whatever. But trying to figure out how to work out was definitely probably the other biggest challenge. But again, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to take running as my next challenge. Like, let's see what this does. And so try to take it as an opportunity, I guess.
Great perspective. Great perspective. What was the worst part of working out back then before TrueCore?
The worst part? Oh gosh. Well, I was definitely not used to the heat coming from Seattle. I know I said I was in Arizona, but I was there during the winter time and only lived there for 6 months.
Really
So
nice.
the heat was definitely something new to get used to. And then just working out by myself too. Like, I am such a person that like I need, especially after like having that really awesome time at my prior CrossFit gym to absolutely nothing. And my family doesn't entirely work out too much. Like they will, I try to force them to like go on walks and stuff. But yeah, it was again with the whole motivation thing, like trying to find
Motivation.
it just for myself and like to keep going and to push myself. And I don't push myself nearly as hard as I do when I'm in a class and there's other people, like, and you can feed off that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really tough, especially me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a social butterfly. Like I have to, I have to have other people, and like that's where I get my energy. So that was tough.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. What led you to look into becoming a member with us?
Um, Kind of like what I said earlier, I knew I wanted to get back into CrossFit, especially with me being new to the area. Um, I just knew that the CrossFit in general is like a great community to be a part of. Um, and I found so many friends like at my last gym. And so
Mm,
I was like, okay, well, I know that this next gym that I pick is like one that I'm going to stick with and like be with for a while, and I'm going to get to know these people. So I want to
yeah.
be able to go in the first time and like get that feeling again. So I tried a couple around the area and it was all fun, but like as soon as I set foot in a True Core, it reminded me a lot of my old gym too, and just like the setup and like the way that the gym is, and like I don't know what it was about it, but it was just like, okay, I got really good vibes from it. And then
Mm,
throughout the workout and like just the coaches too, like they had no idea who I was or like, but I loved the fact that I saw the coaches like going up to each individual person, like, whether it be a workout or just a warm up, like, giving them tips and tricks on like how they can better themselves. That was huge for me because, I was still very, very new to CrossFit and had taken a bunch of time off. So I felt like I was just like super beginner again. Um, so yeah, it was like the coaches. And then throughout the workout that we did, everybody's just like, you can tell like everyone's just like completely worn out, but they're just like, yes, you can get it. And like, I loved that energy. And so that was when I was like, yeah,
yeah.
I have to come back. Like, this is my home. So,
Oh, I love that. This is my home. That's great. Exactly what we strive for. How has being a member with Truth Work helped you, or like what have you seen change in your body or your mindset? What are some of the results that you've seen?
whew, there's a lot. I mean, improvement in almost like every aspect of life, which is like, oh my,
Wow.
they're cheesy to say, but like, again, I was super new to Maryland. I have found so many awesome friends through True Core, which like to me is like the number one thing. Like I was there to find community, of course, like getting stronger, but like the community was like number one for me and finding my place with that. As far as like fitness, I mean, I never thought that I would be able to do like all the numbers that I'm hitting as far as like strength wise. Like I hit 205 with my deadlift, and I was like, I'm in the 200 club. Like it's crazy to me to like, yeah. And like, I don't know, it's really cool to be able to. I was like for a long time really scared of those big numbers, but now I'm like, no, let's add, like let's go. So it's really cool to like have like see a change in my mindset too, and like not being scared of those numbers. Um and like really pushing myself to like, no, you can do this, like you can do more. That was a huge improvement, just from starting True Core, was change in mindset, but change in like, yeah, just the strength, because I was able to see it and like, oh yeah, I can, yeah, basically prove to myself that I can do it, which was really, really awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. That's great. What might have gone better than you expected since you joined? Are there things that you were like, wow, that I was better at that, or that went smoother than I thought, or that was not as hard as I thought it might have been?
um that's a really good question. um well, the workouts are always hard, so that's always, they're always a good workout. I actually, it's a really good question. I think it goes back to that like mentality of, like you're never going to regret a workout.
Mm,
And I know like when I try to not look at the workout sometimes, because sometimes it'll like scare me, not scare me away, but I'm like, a little overwhelmed by it. But like I think, I don't know. That's a really good question. Just getting in there and just doing it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I don't ever set an expectation for myself. Like when I'm doing the warm up and they're like explaining the workout and they're kind of like, oh, well, these are the things that I would suggest. I think that that's what I go off of. But as far as expectations, I always am just like, no, there's no other choice. Like, you're just going to do it. Like, so that's, I guess that's why it's so difficult, because I try not to. I'm just got to push yourself.
You got to push yourself. And it sounds like you just also don't overthink it. You
Yeah.
just walk through the door,
Right.
and everything else takes care of itself.
Right. Because
Is
again, that's the
that kind
hardest.
of what you were saying?
Yes. And that's like the hardest step, is that motivation. But as soon as you walk in that door, you're like, okay, I'm here. Like, we got this.
Yeah. Is there any way in which you think our programs or working with us has like possibly saved you money, whether it be like having to buy new clothes or a wasted gym membership you didn't use before, or maybe crash diets, anything like that?
I definitely love the emails with like all the recipes and stuff. Because for me, like I mean, of course, like diet's number one for, fitness. But I feel like a lot of people, including myself, kind of overthink it and sometimes think that they're really expensive and like you have to do those meal programs, or just kind of breaking those things down. But I loved the recipes that TrueCore kind of gives out. And even just the tips and tricks that you wouldn't necessarily get like if you were at any other gym. I don't know, there's like, I can't think of one specifically, but yeah, I like the ones where, yeah, they kind of like go over deadlifts, or how you can better like core posture. Like there was one about summer and like, okay, core workouts, like summer's here, like let's get ready.
6-pack summer.
Yeah, exactly.
And not the beer kind.
Right. And so it's like those little emails, I know, like, that's something that you could get from a personal trainer, or but you guys like offer that, just like, nope, this is a part of like the program and this is what we believe, and you guys care about your members too. And so sending out those little tips and tricks
Absolutely.
just on a regular basis is really cool. And it also like keeps you motivated.
Good.
So yeah.
What would you say to someone that might be stuck in their own objections or fears of getting started with us?
That's a really good question. I can completely empathize with somebody who is very like overwhelmed with CrossFit. Whether you're new or just new to like TrueCore, it can be really overwhelming. Number one, starting CrossFit, and number two, starting at a new gym. But that like, it's just walking through that door. As soon as you walk through the door of TrueCore, I mean, like I said, it's home. I mean, everyone's going to make you feel welcome. They're going to realize like, oh, this person is new, but like somebody is going to come up to you. And like, I guarantee at least one person's going to like have a conversation with you at that gym. So yeah, it can be really, really scary and overwhelming. And especially with like how many awesome athletes we have at the gym, it can be like, wow, what am I getting myself into? But if anything, that should be like, this is the right place I should be in, because especially if that's like your goal and like you want to better yourself, and you want to just challenge yourself, you're looking for that that next step in your fitness journey. TrueCore is the best by far gym that I've been to, and just the community, but like also the coaches are super helpful. And if you ever have any questions, or like they are so much like, they're very easy to talk to, and they're not overwhelming. They'll always just take a step over and be like, yeah, let's work on this really fast. And I love that about TrueCore. So it's very
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that's been what your experience has been, because that's what we strive to do. We welcome everyone, no matter background, age, gender, experience. We want you to walk in the doors and feel like you're an episode of Cheers, that everybody knows your name.
Hey, yep, you're a regular.
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly, what kind of long-term impact do you think TrueCore might have on your life as a result of working with us?
Ooh,
I know that's kind of an interesting question.
that is an interesting question. Well, because it also hits so many different aspects of my life.
Mm,
Um, Fitness, number one, I feel like with the job that I have in the brewery, I have to keep up with my fitness, and like I'm moving kegs every day, and so being able to, better myself in that aspect and
hmm
just keep myself healthy, and like that's something that you're doing as an investment to yourself.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but like I plan on wanting to do hikes like when I'm 70. Like I want to stick around for a little bit and like go on adventures, and fitness is one of the ways that you can do that. Community, I mean, I've found lifelong friends that I'll be able to keep in contact with for the rest of my life.
Mm,
TrueCore is actually one of the reasons why I decided like to kind of plant my roots here in Maryland, because I've just found so many good people, and it really has just become my home, and it's part of my routine. It's part of, that's what I plan for throughout the day. And so yeah, I mean, long term, it's just become a part of my life. Um yeah, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
well, those are amazing, soul-touching words. So thank you for them, and thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure to chat with you. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Ooh. Uh, if you do join and like you're new, do all of the events because they're so much fun. Um, yeah, I mean, and just challenge yourself. Those are like the two things that I would give to anyone that's new.
Thank you so much, Naomi. It's been great chatting with you, girly.
You too.